Inside Disc Golf.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of Inside Disc Golf, a European perspective on everything happening with the European Pro Tour and the European disc golf players. We're here in Disc Golf Stream Studio. I'm Andrew Gum.
And I'm Viktor Tågestad. This feels strangely familiar somehow. This is the first ever time we're recording a podcast, but we're sitting in the same studio as we usually do, but there's no live broadcast this time.
Nope, this is the first of a weekly show we'll be doing with we'll be having some guests. We'll be recapping all the things that are happening with the European Pro Tour and also touching upon what's happening with the European players when they perform outside of Europe as well, or at other events outside the European Pro Tour. But the main focus will be the European Pro Tour. We're going to have a lot of great guests, but today we're just going to do a little introduction and a recap of what we've been through this year.
It's a lot.
It has been a lot. It's been a lot of fun too.
Yeah, it's hard to say that we're going to have a small or little recap of what has happened, because there's so many things I would like to talk about. And let's see how long. We'll try to make it somehow short, and then we're gonna in the future episodes gonna dive deeper. Dive deeper into all these topics. But a short recap of the season on the European Pro Tour is, I think, a perfect first episode. What do you think?
Yeah, that's the plan. And first let's tell you a little bit about the podcast.
Yeah.
I guess it's meant for anybody interested in disc golf, particularly from the European perspective. All the European Pro Tour fans, and I guess anybody with a lot of time on their hands.
Yeah, I mean, if you're listening to this, you're probably already a disc golf fan, and probably even a disc golf nerd, just like we are. But I hope that this can give you something new. At least to my knowledge, there are no podcasts out there yet focusing on European disc golf in the way that we are planning to do. Of course, we are going to, as you said, we are going to talk about what's happening all over the world, but with a focus on the European players and everything from a European perspective. So I think this might be something new.
Yeah, we hope it's of value for you as viewers and fans of everything that's happening here on this great continent. And of course, the sport has been growing and exploding so much. So we're just happy to provide some extra content to hopefully give you more insight into what's happening. And we also have access to the inside of, the inside scene for what's happening with the European Pro Tour. So we will be able to provide quite some interesting information with future guests and with our own experiences being commentators for the European Pro Tour. I guess we should say a little bit more about who we are, maybe, and how we ended up here in this seat.
Just about to ask, who are you really? I've been sitting next to you for a few months, but we met for the first time at our interview here when we were given the job, basically, to be commentators. That was the first time I saw you. And of course, we have gotten to know each other quite well. We have been working tight together. But tell me a little bit. Yeah, who is Andy Gum?
This will be a great chance for us to go a little bit deeper into our own personalities and our own disc golf experiences and our history. And we'll keep it sort of short. But I'm Andrew Gum. I'm from Council Bluffs, Iowa, right in the middle of the Midwest there, and found myself in Europe after some studies. I was studying cultural anthropology, and I went to Wales in the United Kingdom, and there I began acting career mostly for an Iranian Finnish director, and in one of his final film for his studies, he brought over a Finnish cast, and I fell in love with the costume designer when we met on the set, and
classic, right?
Yeah. So that's how I ended up in Finland.
I'm not going to say too much yet, but I have a similar story. So that seems to be a common theme by international men here in Finland. Have been brought here for some very specific reason.
Yeah, but love is a beautiful thing, and it's worth following your heart and ending up where you belong in that way. And so, now I've been in Finland for quite a long time.
How long time?
I I guess I came here initially about 14, almost 15 years ago, and been living here most of that time since. Was introduced to disc golf here very casually and slowly fell in love with it as well. I wasn't one of these guys that got hooked on the first throw. I took me a lot longer, but I was only really slightly aware that disc golf even existed at that point about 10 years ago when I first ended up there on a disc golf course in Meilahti.
Okay, the Finland's oldest course was also the first one you ever played.
Yeah, and it's basically the only place I played for the first several years. It was kind of a super casual way for me to just have something of my own outside the family to go and just a little relief from all the duties of the family life and connect with some friends. And it was really maybe I would only play once or twice a month at most for the first several years. So
yeah,
it was kind of a really slow introduction into the sport. But yeah, Finland's really one of the great places to be for disc golf. And I eventually became aware of what it really is on a more wider level, like how many courses there are and the organization of events in the professional scene. And so
yeah, it's basically a mainstream sport here in Finland, and there are not that many countries that could say that disc golf is a mainstream sport, but it's really a thing here in Finland that you have to experience yourself to actually believe. Sorry for interrupting you.
No,
But
yeah, that's absolutely correct. And so that was kind of I guess the way that I ended up here in this that there's so much to say. I guess it took a long
15 years.
a long journey. But yeah, I'm really happy to be here and alongside you as well. And
Inside Disc Golf.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, who am I? The weird Swedish guy who just popped up on the disc golf scene. No, my name is Viktor. As I have mentioned a few times already. I come from Sweden, as you might hear on my accent. I'm from a small town in the northern Sweden that is actually quite well known for disc golf, at least in Sweden. It's called Härnösand, and my parents' house is actually just right next to the course. And you might see where how I ended up starting to play. That suddenly, we have this one big park outside the house, and suddenly there were a lot of strange metallic things with chains standing everywhere. And I thought, what are these weird antennas, or what is this? And then I had a friend who came over one day and said hey, do you want to try to play disc golf with me? And then it clicked, okay, that's what those things are. Of course, of course we should try to play. I'm actually quite good at throwing. That shouldn't be any problem. We were playing badminton at that time, so we had arms somewhat used to throw. It took me quite, maybe 2-3 throws to realize that this is something different. This is not as easy as it looks like, but I think we got hooked there quite fast. We were both living close to the course, so we started playing quite a lot, and then other friends joined in, and then that was the main thing we did for many years, to just hang out when planning what we're going to do tonight. Let's go and play a round of disc golf, and then we see. The way we played, though, was a bit weird. We were more trying to distract each other, trying to make each other laugh, and we were the fun thing was not the highlight shot. The fun thing was to make each other laugh and miss putts.
The razzing. So you basically started your disc golf career with the razz rounds.
Yeah, and I still remember those things we were saying to each other when we were about to putt, those 5-6 meter putts that they still pop up in my head when I'm standing there. So I blame my bad putting on my starting years in disc golf.
It's left a deep impression on your putting psyche.
Yeah, definitely. But then I didn't play for. I lived in my hometown then for a few years with the course next to me, and then I didn't play for many years. I moved to Gothenburg and I started to study opera singing. So that's my profession, if you want to say that. I'm a classical opera singer. And I studied for a few years in Gothenburg, and then I went here for a production here to Helsinki. I met a lovely girl who played the piano, and we have been together since. That was 9 years ago, and we eventually moved together to Germany. We lived in Germany for a few years. I didn't touch a disc. I didn't think about disc golf for like 10, 11, 12 years. I barely remember that it existed, even though I lived quite close to one of the best disc golf courses in Germany also, but it didn't cross my mind.
You didn't play at all during
Not
that
at
time?
all. No, for so long time I just had like bad feelings about disc golf. I didn't feel like no, that wasn't my thing then. And then COVID came, and I decided to move to Finland together with this beautiful girl. And when I came here, I realized that disc golf is really not the same thing as I remembered it being a few years ago. I saw the courses, I saw the people, I saw the big bags of discs, which I thought when I was playing in my childhood, or like not childhood, but like teens, I thought it was the nerdiest thing. Like, who would ever bring a bag of discs, and who would have that many discs? Like, it's enough with 3, 4, 5. Like, why would you need more? It didn't take me a long time to fill my own bag and even more. And since I moved here now, I think on my U-disc stats, I have around 200 rounds since I moved here 2 years ago, and I haven't filled them all. So
you've been playing quite a lot, over the last couple of years.
And started following it. I realized, okay, there's actually content to see here on YouTube. I can follow a professional disc golf scene, which didn't exist at around 2006-07. Like, that was something different. So I got hooked quite fast.
You got a lot more into the game playing, and you became a big fan of the professional scene.
That's right. Yeah. And it's like, it's a drug, disc golf, in so many ways, not just playing, but also to follow and see that the beautiful courses, to see the professionalism of the top players, and
the athleticism and the skills.
Exactly.
The course design, and then the experience itself, right? The feelings you get being brought close to nature, and challenging yourself to control an object and can get it to land where you want it to, and all the beautiful things about disc golf that a lot of you, I'm sure, are aware of, right? We're right there along with you, big hardcore fans of the game. One quick question before we move on: when did you realize you had a gift with your voice?
I have been singing my whole life. Ever since I was a kid, I was always singing, and I was singing in a choir for a long time. I didn't see myself as like really like the big voice or anything. I didn't see myself as particularly gifted, but that was the thing I did.
You enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. And then when I was about 17, 18, and I finished what we in Sweden call gymnasiet, and I guess that's high school, yeah.
Lukio, right?
Yeah.
Something like that in Finnish.
Then I got people said to me like, you should really try to do something about this, like more than just as your hobby. And from there, then I found a school in my hometown that I on very high level, and I continued to sing from there. And then I just took like one step at a time, and I ended up singing in quite a few years in the German opera scene also. So it's hard to say. I don't have that really
one
moment or point when because it has always been like one step at a time, and
just living it. But it's nice to get a little background to understand how you have the stage presence that you have and the voice that you have, these skills that translate really well to your commentary game. So
I think it's about that of course, I'm used to be in front of an audience. I'm used to talk. I'm used to being loud. I love being the center of attention. And I at least loved it. I'm starting to become a little bit more taking a step back nowadays when getting older. But yeah. And how about you? How about your acting career? What happened to that? Is there some way we can watch you?
Well, I guess I don't really consider myself to be like a professional actor in that sense, but I grew up, my brother, my oldest brother is a director, So I grew up in front of the camera. He was always making music videos and short films and things like this. And so I was often cast it, or just put in front of the camera to act.
You knew the right people.
Yeah, it was never really like an ambition of mine to be an actor, or I never really have even been to an audition or anything like that. It's something I guess I kind of just stumbled upon based on my environment, and I've always enjoyed it though. Every time I've been involved in a film project or any type of media thing, it's always been quite a rush and quite a good feeling, a positive way to spend the time. And so I've never had any regrets about any of those experiences. And I guess it gives me some confidence knowing that, or just some confidence and some comfort being in front of the camera and knowing that there's people there watching and listening. And I'm happy with all that.
You're doing quite well here, I would say. It's
thank
always
you.
very comforting to have someone like you next to me. But should we say that that's enough about us for today? And
well, I'll just give one more
course.
quick insight about how I got here. I guess.
Tell me, of course.
Of course, there's so much we could go on forever and ever. But I played a lot of catch when I was young with my dad.
Oh,
he was a really into frisbees, like not disc golf discs, but more like freestyle frisbee. I think we had a 115 gram Euro night flyer, and so we would play catch every once in a while. And so I was a lot more into catching. I thought that was the greatest part of frisbees was to catch. I was trying to do all the trick catches, and I just really enjoyed catching more than I did throwing, I guess. And that's still kind of true, but yeah, it's but I guess I had been introduced to frisbees at a younger age, so maybe some of that touch and stuff has transferred over to my disc golf game. But just wanted to mention that it was
you came from
more
that.
of a freestyle background. That's how I initially got introduced into disc sports.
But I have seen you throw those really slow flippy discs like the Sonic, for example, and you have great touch. So it's clear that some of those skills have transferred over to your disc golf.
Yeah, it's a little bit more of an old school touch on a lot of my approach game and that. And I played Ultimate Frisbee in Florida. Before I'd ever played disc golf, I also played Ultimate just for one season, and not even all the games, but for a Florida team. After my wife and I moved to Tallahassee, Florida for a while she was doing some postgraduate studies there at the Florida State University, and her sister's husband introduced me to the game of Ultimate, and they had a team, so I went to play with them, and I was pretty good at that.
Yeah,
so
can imagine.
Also had a good time with that.
Yeah, I played Ultimate a few times in Germany. I've never been as tired in my whole life because I knew somehow how to throw the disc, but I had no idea where to run. So I was running around like a headless chicken there on the course, and that was horrible.
Yeah.
Inside Disc Golf.
But yeah, now let's get into the show. We're gonna start off by talking about recent events.
Yeah,
of course.
There is one big thing that has happened lately that we cannot start the podcast without talking about the World Championships, right?
Yeah, it's the pinnacle event of disc golf. It's the most important and prestigious title that can be won, and so yeah, we're really excited to talk a little bit about that, especially on the FPO side.
Yeah, we of course had seen many of those players here on Disc Golf Stream already, the European players heading over to Worlds. We were seeing on the Prodigy Disc Pro Tour the Finns dominating. I'm talking especially about Heinola, where we saw Evelina Salonen just like wipe away all her putting problems, getting 100% and showing what kind of player she is.
That was amazing.
We also saw Henna Blumros, of course,
super talented.
Yeah, right behind we had Heidi Laine, who has been playing amazing the whole season, and we have been talking about her, that she could be dark horse for the Worlds.
Yeah.
And she went over for the first time ever to US to compete on that scene.
Where did she finish in the end? She was in the top 15, I believe, right?
Yeah, she finished 15th.
15th, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and she had a little bit of up and down worlds, I would say.
I think that's a great finish, though.
It is,
considering it's
yeah.
her first time over there. It's a different culture. It's a different geography, the climate. There's so many things that you need to adjust to when you're changing to the continent to play the game of disc golf, and so it's a really great experience and a good stepping stone for her moving forward. Of course, she's the European Pro Tour champion.
Yeah,
we're going to get a lot more into that when we do our recap of the events and the overall season shortly. But superstar player, incredibly talented, really fun to watch, and great job over there to Heidi.
Yeah, big congratulations to Heidi Line finishing her first ever World Championships. And one thing I want to mention that she finished third at the long drive event there at Worlds, right. Also, which is a big thing. She only beaten by
Paige Pierce and
Ella Hansen.
Ella Hansen, yeah. So that's fantastic. She was able to cash at that long drive competition, and in the actual event, she got cash as well, right?
I think she must have gotten. I don't have that here right now, but
I'm pretty sure she made the bottom of the cash line there for the Worlds.
But she seemed really excited to get over there. I've seen a lot of her Instagram content from the US now, and she seems to have had the time of her life while being over there.
Okay.
And I hope that of course, we hope to see her also a lot in Europe next year, but I would like to see her really challenge the big names there, because she is one that has capacity to be up on the podium at any day. Like
you said, I mean, she's a total bomber. I mean, we've seen that all season long. It's been really impressive to watch her crush the disc, and then to go over to Worlds and to get third place in the distance competition. It's amazing.
That's a big thing, yeah.
And her accuracy and control is also really on point. When she dials it in, she can putt great. She can put her disc close to the basket on the upshots and everything. So, I think the future is super bright for young Heidi Line.
Definitely. And of course, we have those we mentioned. Evelina Salonen finished one of 3 Europeans finishing in the top 5, which is just mind-blowing that they can play on that high level. And she has been struggling a lot, especially early in the season with her putting. Something has to, probably just a mental thing. It just hasn't worked for her. But she showed us when she came over after her first trip to US in Heinola on the Prodigy Disc Pro Tour that she is quite a good putter, I would say. She was 100% the whole weekend, I think.
She was in the high 80s for C1X, but I think for one of the days she was 100%
Yeah, but maybe
C1.
it was just one of the days.
I think
still.
For moving day, I think she was 100%, but she was on point. She was banging them in from everywhere, and she showed that she's definitely got the skill and the ability to putt as well as anybody.
Definitely.
So if she can iron out those pressure mistakes, then she's going to dominate the field, really. Possibly. I mean, of course.
There are really no other players that can throw the discs like she does with that control and the power at the same time. There is something special about her. It's really, I don't know how she does it, but
she's
she
amazing.
could really dominate if she just hired her putting percentage just a bit. Yeah.
And her good friend Henna Blumros also can crush on the disc. I mean, she was throwing so far there in the Worlds, like
it was also mind blowing.
Yeah. So the super talented young Finns all over there making a big splash on the other side of the pond, and we're really proud of them here in Finland. Of course, it's been a pleasure to follow them all season long on Disc Golf Stream. They've been, and also our neighbor to the south in Estonia.
They have quite a few good players also, and especially one that really, really sticks out. We haven't mentioned her name yet, really, but who is she?
Christine Tatar. What a talent and what a great role model. What an incredible disc golf player in person. She really showed what she's made of over there this time at the Worlds, and she's been dominant all season. I mean, she hasn't finished outside the top 3 at all.
Yeah, she had just one withdrawal in Tyni. Yeah. Other than that, she has been up there every single time, and she is so consistent.
Yep, amazing. I mean, the skills and the focus.
Yeah,
and she really was just completely dominant there. I mean, Henna did everything she could to keep with her.
She played she played amazing henna, but she still ended up, what was it, 8 strokes behind?
Yeah. I mean, super consistent, and you could tell how much it meant to her. I mean, she was there to win, and she was a favorite. Even with all those other champions in the mix, that shows how great she really is. That like how talented and how she's already proven herself on that level. But this was something she really needed to accomplish to really cement her status as one of the top players of all time, I think, in the FPO division.
Yeah, I think that they're like, also we can't forget about the way that she came in with an injury.
Exactly.
She has had pain in her elbow for such a long time now, and she wasn't even sure if she would be able to compete at Worlds a few weeks before.
Yeah, incredible story. I mean, I feel like we could tell that she wasn't her usual self, even in Järva. Remember, she fell behind.
Exactly.
And she was able to come through and battle back to get that big win. Of course, we're going to talk about that a little bit later on, but something she's been dealing with all year, a quite serious pinched nerve in her elbow.
Yeah.
And to be able to cope with all that and to find all the inner strength and everything it takes to put together 5 solid rounds, there in the heat and humidity of the Midwest in August. I mean, it's incredibly impressive. Really performance for the ages, and something that won't be forgotten anytime soon.
And she really proved what kind of mental strength she has also, because she was challenged the whole time, even though she won with 8 strokes, but like those came quite late, that lead.
Yeah.
She wasn't in the lead after the second round, I think. I think it was Ella Hansen that was up there then. She had a really good first day where she shot a course record.
She struggled a little bit second and third rounds, I know that. I'm not sure if she ever actually lost the lead. I know Henna was tied with her.
Might have been during the round that she dropped it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like she just walked it all the way in from the start. Of course, she faced a lot of adversity, and but yeah, like that mental strength and that desire and that commitment.
And that's amazing to see someone that, like, I was never worried. I felt that she's gonna be up there. Like, she can afford being a little bit behind. But she's so consistent, so it doesn't matter. She's not making those mistakes that all the other players are.
That's what separates her, really. I mean, of course, a lot of things do, but just that consistency and that she doesn't make those big mistakes. Like, so rarely will she lose the focus during a round.
And then she just killed it on the final day. I'm just looking at it right now. On the final round, she was 8 down on the front 9.
That's just bonkers. I mean, hard to even imagine.
And she kills it there.
What a historical performance from her. I mean, we won't go on forever about it, but it's definitely a really meaningful moment. The first Estonian world champion, the first European champion since 2004, I believe. Only the second ever.
Birgitta Lagerholm was then the Swede.
Yeah, the Swedish. So there's only, every other world champion in history has been from the United States, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I think we will not have to wait that long to see the next one.
The tides are turning. I think the sport is growing all over the world, and in Europe particularly, the quality of play is reaching another level. And yeah, I think it's got those Americans on their toes now. They're quite aware that
should be
that it's going to be a lot more international scene coming up in the coming years, which is a great thing, I think, for everybody. Especially us fans.
Yeah, we are having a lot of fun. And we really hope to see more Americans and other nationalities on the European Pro Tour next year also. We have had a few from overseas coming over, not as many as we hoped, but next year then, come over here and try your luck to see if you can...
it's really, really exciting to have all
these guys and
all those,
girls.
All those players coming over. Of course, we had... Thomas Gilbert had come over for Järva, right?
Yeah.
That was quite nice to have the Canadian.
Nate Perkins, of course, played in Tyni.
And Estonia.
And Estonia as well, yeah. True.
Yeah. Who else did we see?
I think, were those the only 2 from overseas?
Well, we had Luke Bain from Australia playing in Estonia as well. So he came a long way. That was really exciting. I feel like we're missing somebody. So I kind of feel bad. Please excuse us. We apologize if we're leaving you out. But we do appreciate all those international competitors coming and trying out the European Pro Tour, because that makes it all the more interesting. And I think next season we will probably see some more. I believe that Scott Stokely, right?
He's talking about coming over and experiencing the European disc golf scene also. That's something that he wants to see before he finishes his career. So
yeah,
that would be an amazing profile to see in Europe. And
it seems like such an interesting character. It would be great to have him, to follow him along on that journey.
But let's mention quickly also how the men finished at Worlds. In the MPO field, I was hoping that we would see a few more up in the top 10. I think it might be that those courses weren't really suited for the European style of play. It's with so open, so long holes. My feeling is that the Europeans are slightly more technical and used to wooded courses and finding lines in that way. And
I think that's part of it. Yeah, I think that's part of it. And also the humidity in the Midwest is so suffocating. There's really not any environment like that in Europe to have that level of humidity that I'm aware of. Like really, I mean, of course it can be super hot in the South, in the summer and everything. But the stickiness that happens in those fields there in the Midwest, the breadbasket, it's something you can't really understand unless you've felt it, and it takes a while to adjust probably to those conditions as well. So it was very humid. I think that's part of it. But also, I think the depth of field on the MPO side is insane. There are so many good players, and they're coming out from everywhere. They're younger and better than ever, and even the guys that have been around are really focused more because they see how much more it matters and how much more potential it has to be a big career and to to fight for these really prestigious titles. It's everybody shows up. It means so much to all these people. This is their life, for most of them, that this is the thing that matters the most. And the depth of field from the American contingency is not to be understated.
Definitely not. Like someone like Aaron Gossage, who finished second. What a like performance that was. That was something special, pushing the Paul Macbeth, maybe the best player of all time, to playoff to win the Worlds. And no one would expect that from Aaron Gossage coming into Worlds.
That's an amazing storyline, of course. And
there are
this is
30,
kind of what
40,
I mean.
50 other players that could take his place for that like surprise second place. But
yeah, there's so many super talented players, and the sport has evolved so much, and it's come such a long way, and in even a relatively short time. It's very impressive. The top European finisher was a Finn, Vaina Mäkelä.
Finished 14th.
Which 14th, fantastic.
Still, yeah, very good. He finished third at these courses at the Dynamic Disc Open early in the season, so he seems to like it in Emporia.
Yeah, seems to suit his game. I know his spin putt is really good, and that probably helped him out in the wind, and he's really good.
Overall
of course,
player.
Yeah, he's got all the skills and really super talented. I think Simon Lizotte was in the top 26, right? Yeah.
25th, it says here. He did not, he came in as a favorite, of course.
He's been performing so well all season, so maybe he might be a little disappointed with that. I know a lot of people probably are a little bit, we're expecting him to maybe do a little better.
But he has had a busy year. He's become a father. He just got married, I think, a few days ago, and 3 wins already on the.
Oh, he's had a great season. Yeah, probably his best season of his career, I would say. And he's always in contention. Super talented. Who else did well? Yeah,
then we had Albert Tam, the Estonian, the bazooka guy who played really well, finished 41st, and then the Swedish Linus Carlson who finished 51st.
And Knut Van Holland, who we saw in Järva.
Winner from Järva, finished 61st.
So a lot of different flags in there in the top 100 or so, and fantastic performances from all those guys.
Let's just mention everyone who made the cut. We also have Niklas Antela, 64th. I had higher expectations on him, and I think he had as well. He's one of those who I think could potentially win Worlds.
Yeah. He's we've seen him all season long here, and what an incredible performer and competitor, disc golfer.
Then we also had Silver Lett, finished 73rd. We had Seppo Pajo, finished 80th, and also Tuomas Hyttiäinen finished 85th. He was the last one here out of those who made the cut. But Yeah, I have to admit that I expected to see a few more in the top, but just like you says, it's so tight. There are so many players, and we have to remember also that most of these European players coming over, they are so young.
Yeah, this is a great experience for all of them. Of course, there hasn't been international travel allowed during the COVID period, and so that for a lot of them, it's their first chance to get over there on the tour and to play a big event like Worlds. So
yeah.
The experience is going to go a long way, and the future is really bright for European disc golfers.
I want to mention one of those players that we just talked about, Linus Carlson, Swedish highest rated player. He came in this year, the first time really to tour in the US, and he had high expectations, probably on himself, but also from the whole Swedish disc golf scene. He was rated 1035, and people thought that he was going to go up there and be a real contender for the win.
He's a really young guy as well.
He is a really young guy, and it has proven to be quite difficult to come in with that high expectations on yourself. And I don't really know. I haven't been talking to him, but I know what most people were thinking. He played on the feature card already at the first event in Las Vegas because people really believe that this is someone that can come here and become a name.
The expectations were pretty high. And
exactly.
It's hard to deal with that pressure, I guess. But
I don't want to
also the conditions and everything. That's his first time over there, right? And
and it has taken quite some time, but he has finally started to, I think, find his game again. He has dropped down from that 1035 rating to 1026. But now this weekend he just finished third in the Silver Series in Pittsburgh at the Butler County.
Great performance.
Huge
there.
Step, and one of few podium finishes for the European players this year. We had Albert Tam, who won one Silver Series
in Tallahassee. Yeah, fantastic performance there, and he's made a lot of effort. It takes a lot of courage to put yourself out there like that, to commit to that type of a tour. To travel all the way across the ocean there, and to travel across the big country of the U.S. and all the different events, and logistically and physically and mentally, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to even try to chase down a dream like that, and to put yourself in the position to do something special over there. So big shout out, and I really respect all the players that have made the effort.
I want to say that is 100%. Just now I can't find the word, but Linus Carlson, I really believe in him, and I really believe that he can be up there fighting for the win at any given tournament. And I think this is just shows what he's capable of, that he's able to finish third in a Silver Series.
Yeah, just like the rest of the Europeans, he's gaining really valuable experience over there during all those events and everything. So.
We also had Niklas Antila this weekend, finished top 10, tied for 8th. So it's a good event for him as well.
Nice top 10 finish over there in the Silver Series.
Inside Disc Golf.
We have been talking quite long now already. We were planning to talk through all the European Pro Tour events. I don't know how much time we should put on that, but
let's get into it.
Yeah, I think we should. It's time for that now.
Great transition moment.
And of course, here in Europe and on the European Pro Tour, we started the season in Denmark.
Yep.
In Copenhagen.
Copenhagen Open, the first event ever on the European Pro Tour. And that was really exciting. That was a whole new experience for everybody, particularly us.
I have never been so nervous in my whole life, I think. If you have the possibility, you can go back and have a look at that first day of Copenhagen Open and see those first minutes in the studio with the two pale guys.
We did a great job.
We did eventually.
Did really well, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, and I guess if you're not familiar with Disc Golf Stream, that's the streaming service that you can find live disc golf from the European Pro Tour and from the Prodigy Disc Pro Tour as well, which was formerly known as the Finnish Pro Tour. And that's a really great value service that you can subscribe to and watch along all the time with our commentary and with fantastic action from all those events. And that was that was a pleasure to be a part of the first event ever, European Pro Tour, the Copenhagen Open.
And it was perfect season opener. I mean, it was that time it was late April, but the winter was really harsh here in Finland, and there was still quite a bit of snow here on the ground when.
Yeah, but it looked lovely there. It was full spring.
Yeah,
everything was green, and it looked like a great place to be. You know, perfect place to start out the tour. What really stood out to you the most about that event? Like, what would you say the main storylines or the biggest surprises from both the FPO and the MPO side?
There are two names that I think of, just popping up in my head when we talk about Copenhagen. It's first of all, it's Daniel Davidson. He was not that known to me before. He's still a very young guy, and I had not seen that much from him. But what we saw from him in Copenhagen was really something spectacular.
Yeah,
he was in such a control, and he ended up winning the event. We thought on the last day that okay, he's starting to look a little bit nervous.
But he didn't take a bogey during any of that point. He
never made any mistakes.
He just missed a few putts, or he didn't quite execute the way, like up to the level he had in the first 2 rounds. But he still dominated. I mean, he still won handily, right? I mean, what was it? At least a few strokes. It wasn't really an issue in the end. I remember.
Yeah, I finished with 4 strokes.
4-stroke win
over Mikael Häme, who had a really, really good final day.
That's right. He really charged, as he had done, or has done a few other times this season on the European scene.
So he was,
of course, Daniel Davidson was the European junior champion coming in, but nobody really expected him to break out onto the pro scene.
He wasn't one of those names that I was thinking of.
I think that was a big shock, you know, to take down a huge win like that, you know, a bunch of cash and then...
And the way he did it also, it was so, like... Yeah, he had like
smooth,
this superhero aura around him that you could see that no one is on the same level as him right now.
He really set the mark for the season, and I think after that event, I mean, it was hard to imagine anybody defeating the guy. The way he played so confidently there, and his skills, where he executed everything so clean. I was thinking, like, are we witnessing a new dominant force on the European, you know, disc golf scene here?
Thought that this is,
but he's a young guy, and maybe the pressure became a little bit much after that. He didn't really reach back to that level for the remainder of the season. Had some really bright moments, some really great rounds here and there, but failed to finish on the podium really for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm thinking that it might have been a bit too much pressure on his shoulders to start out the season that well. It's probably easier to finish maybe a podium finish or something and then chase for that victory. But he got it already at the first event.
And that's miraculous, and that's wonderful. I mean, that's something you can never take away from the guy. That he's the first European Pro Tour champion
ever
for an event. On the MPO side. So he's a part of history, and that was a big breakthrough moment for him to prove that he can compete at the top of the pro division. So,
and I think he finished 3rd at the Finnish Championships now a few weeks ago. So he's still one of those guys in the top.
Oh, yeah. You definitely got to keep your eye on and look out for. And he's got a really bright future, young man, super talented disc golfer.
And then there's one other name that I'm thinking of, and it's Rachel Turton.
Yep, me too as well. That was the main storylines, wasn't it? Of course, they're the winners, but it was also kind of the surprises that they brought. You know, like they weren't in any way favorites coming in.
Not at all, especially not Rachel. I think very few people had ever heard her name.
Yeah. She coming from Scotland, from Great Britain, and I guess she had played at the European Championships. I wasn't so following along too much with that in 2021.
Yeah,
I guess she did pretty well there, and her rating was up pretty close to what Hades was, and I was thinking it was really inflated, maybe based on the difference in competition in the UK or something. I just didn't. No disrespect. I just didn't know who she was. I didn't realize how great of a player she really is. So
few people did. So you're excused. Yeah.
But it was really awesome to watch her come out and to display that talent and
professionalism.
She was really a pleasure to watch. She was totally in control of all of her play and emotions, and she was really fun to watch. It was a great storyline.
Yeah, I couldn't see anyone beating Heidi Laine. I was sure that she's gonna take this down with all her experience and all. Like I've seen her a lot. I know what she's capable of. Like, thought who could beat her? And then this Scottish,
and to beat her handily.
Yeah,
I mean, Rachel was on fire. she took it down wire to wire, I believe, right? She came out the first round and shot the hot round, I think, and
And
then
she
there was no
won
stopping her.
She won with 12 shots.
12 shots over
Over 3
Heidi
rounds.
Laine.
Yeah.
I mean, what a performance that was.
I know that Heidi was very disappointed. She, of course, came from a wintry Finland, had not yet really started her season, but still we had high expectations on her, and she had it on herself.
I don't think she played that well. Maybe her putting could have been like quite a bit better. But first event of the year. I think first time playing on live coverage, right? So there's a lot of pressure involved with all that, and
might also have been the first time outside Finland. I'm not sure of that, but
yeah. So a lot of challenges, and she still came in second place. Solid performance, and Copenhagen Open. Go back and watch that on Disc Golf Stream. That was a lot of fun.
And then second event, Järva, a place with a lot of history, magic. You were there to play through the course some days ahead of the event, and
that was a pleasure. It's such a beautiful property with so much history, and really the care taken to craft and design it, and it's a special place. Some place you really want to experience at least once in your life. One of those mecca sites for disc golf, and
what do you remember from there? What are the stories that you think of when you think back to Järva Open?
Yeah, I remember. Was it Sophie Björlek?
Björlek.
Yeah. I remember that she really impressed me with how consistent and solid that she had played, or that that she was in the lead after 2 rounds.
She was. Yeah.
And we were thinking, like, is this the biggest upset of all time, Kristin Tatar? I mean, I think of course she might have been having a little bit struggles with that elbow, but she wasn't really showing it much, so we were kind of confused, But Sophie,
I wouldn't say
played
that Kristin played that bad.
No, I think Sophie just played so well.
Yeah.
What was her ratings like? She was playing 970 all the way.
Yeah, her rating was 925 at this week, and she played her 2 first round at rated 972.
Yeah.
So that's 50 points over her
and that's
rating.
up to Kristin's rating. So I mean,
exactly.
she just like, or at that time roughly. So I think that was kind of like really the most impressive thing was just the way that Sophie was able to keep up with Kristin. But of course, it was really impressive that Kristin was able to come through in the end. And she showed how strong her mental game is and how committed she is to winning, and just what a great talent she is, and what a superstar of the sport.
Yeah, and I think also we might have seen some nerves from Sophie there on the back 9. I remember that's where she started to really drop down. It was on the back 9 on the round 3, and she knew that she could potentially beat the world number 1 and take down that home victory.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And Sophie's been around for a long time, but I don't think she's played in that level of event against that type of competition before. So Kristin, of course, has had a ton of experience over there battling with the legends of the game, like Paige Pierce and Katrina Allen and everybody else on the Disc Golf Pro Tour in the United States. So she had that experience, from the previous years, and I think that really came through.
It's apparently very hard to beat a world number 1. Yeah. She did what she could.
She did everything good, but I think that was a great.
More, yeah.
The battle between those 2 ladies was such a pleasure to watch, and I think that was a great storyline.
And I hope we see more of Sophie Björlek next year also, and we're gonna see her most likely on the All-Star event in a few weeks.
Yeah, something to really look forward to. We're going to touch on that on a different episode, but something to look forward to for sure.
Yeah.
And on the MPO side, Knut van Holland, the Norwegian.
What a battle that was! It was match play the last round between.
He took down Niklas Antila.
Yeah.
I mean, who can do that when? And it wasn't like Niklas collapsed or anything. Like he was playing basically the best that he could. I mean,
no one wins over Niklas Antila when Niklas Antila is playing good.
Nobody but Knut van Holland.
No, apparently, yeah.
Because that was amazing. He wouldn't let it out of his grip. Like you could tell how bad Niklas wanted it. He threw in that ridiculous eagle that
highlight of the season
blew my mind
so far.
I think it could be shot of the year. I know I've been saying that over and over again, but I haven't seen anything to change my mind really. So
yeah, if you haven't seen that, I don't know exactly what you should Google for, but Niklas Antila had this I think it was in round 2, and on the back 9 there, one of the most amazing shots ever, where he cut right through the forest and just like found basket on the other side in a way that I didn't think was ever possible.
One of the hardest holes you'll ever play, and to get a 2 there is almost unfathomable. I still don't really even know how he got through that gap, you know, and in the moment, and then to get to see the stone-faced Finn show that much emotion there with the excitement. Yeah, that was a special moment. But the battle between Knut and Niklas, I think, was the main storyline there on the MPO. Yeah. But we have to give a special mention to Emanuel Bengts.
Yeah.
Because he was the leader after the first round.
He was the leader. He was
stuck in there.
He finished tied for third. He had a really bad second round, but still. But that was even with that, he able to get up there on the podium
for the third round, and he battled back onto the podium. I mean, that's amazing. The guy was so far behind, like in ratings wise, but he came out and shot the hot round in the first round. And of course, you know, being in front of the live coverage, playing with the superstars of the sport the second day, nobody could handle that the first time. No. That's something you can only learn through experience. You know, most people will never know what that feels like.
Yeah,
and so for him to handle that and to come back strong the third day, and I feel like he kind of righted the ship near the end of that second round.
Yeah,
he was clearly battling those nerves in the front nine, and at some point he kind of let go of all that stress and pressure and started playing disc golf.
He really did.
And then we got to see how he got himself there, and he's a really, really good player.
And on the final day there, when he played, he was not on the camera. Then he was crushing it again. He was up there. Like his first round was rated 1054. His second round was rated 972, and his final round was rated 1037. So like that clearly shows that
remarkable.
Yeah,
remarkable.
And even his bad round was still over his own rating.
Yeah.
Super
impressive. We're running out of time, but we're going to keep moving on forward. After that, we had Tuni. That's the flagship event here, right around the corner from Disc Golf Stream Studios in Sipoo, Finland, just outside of Helsinki.
Yeah,
really special event that you gotta get yourself to next time. It's the biggest event in Europe, and it's a ton of fun. Lots of side events, like a big festival of frisbee golf, disc golf.
I have 3 names that I want to mention for this. Should I
go for it? Yeah, please,
go for it.
Please do.
Of course, it felt like a one-man show. Lauri Lehtinen.
Oh, he was on a mission, wasn't he?
He was in the lead more or less from the start and just finished. He came, like, for those of you who don't know, he was in the lead last year, 2021.
This was redemption.
Until the last hole, the scary hole 18 at Tuni, where you throw 100 meter over water and it's often very windy. It's a really scary hole to throw. And he lost the win there to Jesen Nieminen. But this
he went
year
OB twice, right? And it was a devastating blow for him. You know, I mean, I think he was so disappointed in himself and really crushed. And he even said that was the worst moment of his disc golf career was in the press conference, right? So he was completely focused on redeeming that.
He did the best he could out of that bad experience and turned it into something great instead. And
he got redemption. You know, he came through with a great win. He won by 5 strokes in the end. And of course, they were, you know, it was a little bit tighter than it seems. He kind of finished so strong, I think, and
but he felt like he was in control.
But he wasn't going to let it out of his grip. He was there to win, and super gritty, amazing performance from Lauri Lehtinen at Tuni. Amazing.
That was amazing to follow. We say amazing a lot, but
it was
for good reasons. Yeah,
he took down Niklas Anttila. Who else was there? Puru Jotsen,
Tuomas Hyttiäinen
showed up, played well. Silver Lat was on made the lead card and played really well there. And really, really fantastic action there. Make sure you go back and check that out on Disc Golf Stream as well.
And then on FPO side, we had a huge battle. We had Kristin Tatar, who withdrew after her first round, opening the door wide to all the ones behind. She didn't play up to her level there on the first round. It was quite clear that something was disturbing her.
I think she was obviously not her normal self there physically, and it had to be really hard for her to withdraw and to know that she was dealing with something a little more serious than she probably hoped as far as injury wise, and to know that those big events were coming up. She missed 2 majors, the European Open, of course, and she couldn't get over for the U.S. Women's Championships, I think it's called. So and
it's the first time ever she withdraws from a tournament. I think so, at least.
Yeah.
So
I believe you're right.
it was a big thing for her and for everyone. Like we of course expected to see her in the top.
Yeah.
But we were not disappointed because instead we got to see one of the battles of the year between Heidi Laine and Silva Saarinen, who is someone that I want to talk more about later. But that was really a breakout moment for Silva Saarinen, the way she was able to battle with Heidi.
Yeah.
And they switched. They took turns of having the lead. Every time Silva did something great, Heidi answered, and vice versa. They were responding to each other all the time, and it was so exciting to follow.
That was a real pleasure to watch. They were really pushing each other to the limits there, and of course, Heidi came out on top with a one-stroke victory coming down the stretch. But it was really made interesting by Silva and her solid play there.
Yeah, and we're told that it's not going to take long until we see Silva there up on the top. She's extremely young, and the way she's playing is just like, we call her the highlight machine.
For good reason.
For good reasons, yeah. And it did not take long until she got up on the top. But let's wait a little bit.
Yeah, but there she got a great paycheck, over $1,000, and really, really great podium finish. A lot of tour points there and everything. So that was a great finish for her, and a lot of confidence building momentum that it gave her, I think, moving forward into the coming events. And I think we got to see that then later on in the season, right?
Her final round was rated almost 100 points over her rating.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
So
then we went to Estonia.
What a place that was.
We
went
fun.
there, both of us. We took the boat here from Helsinki to Tallinn and took a 45-minute car ride to Kurvemaa.
Yeah, that was so much fun. Great memories from there. We had a blast. We both loved the course. We got to play it twice. We got to help out with the press conference, meet some of the players, and really just soak up the atmosphere of that great venue. The clubhouse is really fantastic. They got great food. The T1 is right there on the deck patio, and it was really well organized. Everything was just spectacular. Yeah. I really loved that event as well. That was so much fun.
And we saw two battles there.
Yep.
Two big battles, especially, or I shouldn't say especially, but we saw Lauri Lehtinen, who shot one of the best rounds of the year for him on the first day.
Yep. Came out with that 1064 rated.
Yeah.
And put him with a 2-stroke lead over Niklas, right? And that kind of set the tone for the weekend, what we were going to see, the battle between the top two Finns.
Yeah. And then Niklas just came closer and closer and closer. And at the final stretch, he just surpassed Lauri and finished as the victory. Finished with the victory.
Yep.
Do you even say that?
Yeah, finished with the victory. Just by one stroke, but he was clutch, coming down the stretch there because, of course, Lauri wasn't in the lead most of the way, and Niklas was just able to kind of really keep the pressure on him, and then the pressure kind of got to Lauri a little bit. He never really collapsed, but he just kind of just gave him too much of an opportunity, and Niklas came through clutch, really just put that last shot right into the basket, and that was what it was all about, right?
He was in control.
Yeah.
He knew that he just needs to play on his level, and then he will be up there. And clearly, Lauri didn't play on his level, except for the first round, I would say.
Yeah. So he was kind of trying to maintain that top position, and just came up a little bit short there in the end. So Niklas was able to get revenge for that defeat in Tuni, and that was super exciting. Yeah.
His first ever win on the European Pro Tour.
Yep. And then the FPO was really exciting as well.
Yeah, we thought Katie Tette had secured the win coming into the final day, and after the first holes there, she just looked super solid. And
she was on fire all weekend. She was just throwing lasers. Her putt was dialed. She was totally focused, calm and collected. Another great Estonian personality and great role model. And she, how many strokes did she have going into the final round? Was it 2?
I don't know, but doesn't matter how many strokes you have when the name behind you is Heidi Laine.
Yeah, Heidi came to play that final day, and she got the job done. Super gritty, and fantastic. Yeah, she had a 2-stroke lead, so Katie was up 2 strokes, but the way she was playing, it looked like she was unbeatable. She was just
so controlled.
Yeah, everything was like she wasn't making mistakes. She wasn't giving up anything. She was she really surprised me with being able to keep that consistent level of play for those first 2 rounds, and she even played pretty well that final round. It just wasn't quite enough because Haiti was charging.
Yeah, it's always dangerous to have Haiti lineup behind you. You should never relax, or you can't afford to make any mistakes if you have someone hungry behind you with
that much talent.
Yeah, with that much talent that she has now.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, we're really running out of time, but we should quickly mention also the final European Pro Tour. The normal, what do you say?
The regular season.
Regular season,
the conclusion of the European Pro Tour's regular season took place in Turku, and that was a ton of fun. Seppo Paju, the hometown hero, was able to get a big win, his first European Pro Tour win, and his first win in a few seasons, wasn't it?
Yeah, first win in 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. And he seems to really enjoy playing in front of the home crowd, because his previous win was also in Turku on the Finnish Pro Tour. Yeah, the Prodigy Disc Pro Tour.
That's right. And
2 years ago.
Yeah, it was dominated by Finns. You know, I guess there was a lot of other stuff going on that time of year. A lot of other players had shifted their focus over to the World Championships or their national championships.
Exactly. The national championships was just the week before in most countries here, so we didn't have as big international field as we wished for.
But we still had some really deep Finnish field with super highly rated players, and it was a great battle. Seppo came out on top and performed really well. Rasmus Salkoriipi gave him a run for his money, and it was really impressive performance from him. He really caught fire late season. Rasmus, we don't really have time to go too deep into it.
But it was still a fight up until the last hole. He had still the chance to take the win when they stepped up on T18. Yeah. So it was really fun. We are going to talk more about this event also in later episodes. But Silva Saarinen.
Yeah, that was great. She really
got it.
Got her victory, and slightly diminished field, but it was a tight battle. Really, I mean, there was some moments where we weren't really sure, and all 3 of those ladies had a really good chance at different moments during the event, and Silva was able to come through and
most consistent.
Yep,
fewest mistakes, and some great highlights, as we always see from her. And
for sure,
she has been playing better and better every single event we have seen her this year. We have seen her on many European Pro Tour events, and also a lot on the Prodigy Disc Pro Tour that we have also followed there on Disc Golf Stream. And she has impressed us every time. We have just waited for that win to come, and it came in Turku.
Yeah, that was a great moment.
Inside Disc Golf.
That's all the time we have for you for this first episode of Inside Disc Golf.
Yeah.
The European perspective on things, on the DG scene.
And if you have any kind of questions, any wishes for potential guests for this podcast, anything you just want to compliment us for, criticize us, please try to be constructive. But please...
Everything's welcome. We don't mind the hate.
Please send all that to inside@europeanprotour.com. inside@europeanprotour.com. We will read everything. We will try to listen and take all the kind of response that you give us. And
we really value all the feedback, and we really appreciate all the support and your viewership in general. And we're really happy to be here with you doing this, and trying to keep you as informed as we can about everything happening on the European scene. And we're going to be able to give you a nice inside look into everything that happens on the European Pro Tour. Next episode, we'll have the CEO of the European Pro Tour, Juha Kuta.
Don't miss that. That's going to be very interesting. And
yep.
He's
we'll
also
have a guest in studio, and it's going to be a great time.
Yep. He's a nice guy.
Yeah. And we'll get to hear a lot more about everything that goes on behind the scenes and what to look forward to in the future, because the future is really looking bright. It's going to be a lot of fun.
But thank you for following us. Sorry, did I
interrupt you? No. Thank you. Yeah, thank you everybody for following us, and thank you, Viktor, for your help with all this. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, another new experience for me, and I hope this will not be the last podcast episode we record. We will be back next week for sure, and for quite a few weeks too.
Yep.
Also later.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I'm Viktor Tågestad.
Andrew Gum.
Signing off.
Inside Disc Golf. The European Disc Golf Podcast. Everything about European disc golf in one podcast.